Hey guys, welcome to Solo ReacTalk. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video requested by Alpha Shocker. It's called the Galactic Core, home of the Leagues of Votann. Yes, created by Baldermort's Guide to Warhammer. If you want to check out my other reactions to Warhammer 40k content, remember the playlist card is going to be at the top. Just click on it and be able to access them. If you want to check out the original video as well as Baldermort's Guide to Warhammer YouTube channel, the links are in the description below. The Leagues of Votann, I've never heard of them before. They are a new faction in Warhammer 40k if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, let's see what they're all about. 3, 2, 1, go. Why did it happen so fast? Like I wasn't even ready. But anyways, okay, let's just go.
The Galactic Core, the home of the Leagues of Votann. The two kin sat at their desk waiting and watching with deep anticipation.
So they're humanoid, okay? Are they genetically made this way or are they naturally born this way? Okay.
Scanners had chirped into life only moments before, breaking what had been a long period of tedium. After the initial alarms had woken them, they had both hurried to their positions, but on discovering the nature of the alert, one had rushed off. His friend had raised an eyebrow, but had said nothing. What could be worth missing out on the only activity they had witnessed in weeks? The answer was simple, as his colleague came rushing back with snacks. The other kin beamed at him as they both now looked at the screens and chortled. For the proximity alarm had indeed identified an interloper, a Tau ship, a scout. They both watched on with twinkles in their eyes and pushed light nibbles into their faces. This would be fun. For the ship was heading directly into a gravity well, a ripper that would tear their vessel to pieces in mere seconds.
So you're not gonna help, you're just going to watch that happen? Okay. Well, this is 40k, no one helps each other out here. You know, so, okay. Bye.
Not invited. So the kin felt absolutely no compunction to warn them. And so they watched and laughed. It was not out of hatred or rage or fear or revenge. It was the simple joy of watching an outlander ship attempt to merely survive where they thrived. It was a testament to the tenacity and will of the kin. And the show did not last long. Welcome, gentle listener. I am Baldermort, your faithful servant, and I wish to introduce you to the factions, forces, and faces of the Warhammer 40k setting. The grim darkness of the far future, where there is no time for peace. There is only time for war. Don't forget, we have a natural history and mythology channel as well now.
Natural history and mythology? Okay, Baldermort. I'll see if I can check them out after, editing the videos and posting them. I'm gonna check out your other channels. Interesting.
It's in the description, so go have a shufti. Now, let us proceed. And today, we are to begin our delve into the new lore surrounding the kin of the Leagues of Votann, a new faction, but an old idea brought back to life. So,
I like that name though, Votann. It sounds so strong and cool. Votann. Yeah.
In the next few days, I hope to put out some wee cookies of lore to break us into the subject at a consumable pace. This is, to all extents and purposes, a new topic, and thus I shall indeed be quoting, why not? It's so fresh off the press, so to put it. The only thing I would note is my apologies, but the author of the new codex seems to have a preponderance for lists, like a lot. So don't shoot the messenger.
Lists? What do you mean? Like he or she just gives you out stats about this entire race? Oh, okay.
I'm only reading out what is stated. And so, as usual, for the very basics, let us lean on existing wisdom. From the first codex for the Leagues of Votann, to quote, the Galactic Core. The Galactic Core is an immense region, one of the most turbulent in all of the known galaxy. It is also, to those who dwell outside of its boundaries, known for being one of the most mysterious and perilous stretches of space imaginable. Most void-faring races have at least one cautionary tale of foolish explorers vanishing amidst its blazing stellar nurseries and strange anomalies. Yet, for the Leagues of Votann, the Galactic Core has been home. Yet, for the Leagues of Votann, the Galactic Core has been home now for millennia. The Galactic Core is a truly vast region of space.
Before he continues, the Galactic Core has a lot of compact stars, right? Black holes, gravitational anomalies, radiation, all forms of danger you could ever imagine in space concentrated in a very small area in the galaxy. And that's where these guys live. Wow.
One within which all of the fundamental forces of the universe seem heightened and intensified to sometimes bewildering degrees. The sheer density of stars alone is disorienting and extremely hazardous for those unused to it.
I mean, just imagine, you're seeing a sun-like star, just, 1 light year away. And then you see another one light year away. Like, all of them, just 1 light year away. Not 5 or 6 light years, no, 1 light year away. Just here, right here, you see it. And then you just see 6 more on the other side. You see 10 more on that side. You see 20 more below you. You see 20 more up above you. So yes, it's going to be very confusing. And, it's all different types of stars. All shining at different luminosities. And yeah, it must be just insane just to be in there and navigating and even creating a home planet in such an environment. I don't even think planets can actually form in that, in the galactic core. I don't think there's any planets there. Or maybe like on the outer periphery of the galactic core, maybe, there's a chance. But as you go deeper, I think it's just full of stars, gas, black holes, and gravitational anomalies. Yeah. Crazy.
Many worlds within the core never experience the true darkness of night, or are perpetually bombarded by a wide spectrum of exotic and often extremely dangerous radiation. Due to the strange interactions between stellar bodies, dense particulate belts, and titanic electromagnetic anomalies, there are regions in which the gravitic pull of comparative small moons and planetoids is immensely magnified. Dense asteroid belts thousands of miles across, ravenous black holes, polarized, vitrified, and even sentient nebula, enigmatic and terrifying grey stars.
Sentient nebula? Nebulas that are alive. Interesting. That's terrifying, but also very interesting.
These and countless other phenomena endanger any daring the core. Yet for all these perils, many alien races successfully inhabit this vast region, even prosper amidst its opportunities and riches. The kin are foremost amongst these, inarguably so, for the territories of their Leagues of Votann occupy much of the core when taken as a whole. However, both within their boundaries and beyond, countless dangers still lurk, and strange beings ply the stars in search of plunder, trade, and conquest, or in the hopes of sating other strange desires.
Okay, yes. Sorry about that, Baldermort. Yeah, so the kin are the people, right? and the League of or should I say the Leagues of Votann is like a confederation of all the different states of kin civilizations. So they've all united under one banner called the Leagues of Votann, right? Hopefully I'm getting that correct. If I'm not, guys, in the comment section, please correct me. But yeah, I think the kin are the species, and then the Leagues of Votann are the different factions or nations of the kin that have united under one banner. Yeah.
The Great Arthurian League controls one of the largest swathes of territory of any of the Leagues of Votann. They benefit from many sources of raw materials and, after millennia of constant toil and bloodshed, have eliminated most of the more prominent alien threats within their borders. Their trade routes are widespread, even striking out into far space.
They kind of remind me of the Imperium of Man. They're also exterminating, alien species in their territory, giving them no chance to grow. And, they just occupy the entire place. So, yeah, they're kind of giving me the same, activities that the Imperium of Man does in the rest of the galaxy. Yeah.
Few of the Leagues of Votann possess territories as rich in raw materials as those of the Emir conglomerate. Of course, such wealth comes at a price. Many are the minor alien empires and invading raiders who have come seeking the bounty claimed by the kin, and much blood has been spilled in the never-ending war to drive them away. The Gulo industrial complex control a broad belt of territories that curls counter-spinward towards the southern heartlands of the galactic core. This League of Votann are forever seeking to add new territories and planets to their impressive holdings, and are skilled in transforming even the most barren world into productive and valuable assets. The circumnuclear disk. This strange liminal zone fringes the galactic core. It appears from afar like a shifting mosaic of many-hued particular nebula that fall eternally inward towards the core. Close up, its true perilous nature is revealed. The disk is wrenched at by unstable empiric currents just beneath the skin of reality, and bedeviled by strange radiation spectra, errant gravitic anomalies, dense asteroid fields, and tumbling rogue stars in real space. It is a truly perilous region to cross, even for the most skilled helmsman. End quote. Ah, the Leagues of Votann. What a conundrum, and a dicey little entry to the lore, for so much depends on their secrecy. The entire setting could be upended by one simple error on their part, but I shall discuss that more in depth later in the week. Now, many will say, how can the Leagues have been forgotten for so long? How did the Imperium not know of them? This is a question that has one simple answer.
Wait, I'll give you my answer first. I think they forgot them because of, bureaucratic bundles and mess. You know how the Imperium of Man is with their bureaucracy. They can't keep any type of filing system operational for too long. Like, there's just too much information. It's a chaos. It's mess, and essentially that's how the Tau were able to survive. Their first, not their first encounter with the Imperium of Man, but the Imperium of Man survey vessels that were scouting out the area where the Tau were based, their planet, their homeworld. They cataloged the planet, they even designated it for extermination, and then, the planet would be used as a colonization planet. But all of that information got lost in bureaucracy. It got lost in the tidal forces of information that just continues to be, buried under so much paperwork, or it's just destroyed because the planet that the information was based on was conquered by chaos demons or by other xeno races. So there's a lot of bureaucratic mess that could have, allowed the Leagues of Votann to continue to exist without the Imperium of Man actually taking notice of them. So yeah, just like the Tau, maybe they're lucky that way.
The Imperium did not forget them, but they were not a threat. So they were never forgotten, merely ignored.
Just like the Tau, essentially.
For the Kin's home, the core, is a region that has so many anomalies, is so much more difficult and dangerous to colonize, or even scout to be honest, that I imagine it was simply seen as not cost-effective to bother. And few threats have emerged from the core to give the huge and sluggardly Imperium the prick it would need to take notice. And as
yeah, it would be, not really cost-effective to start an invasion plan of conquering the galactic core. Like Baldermort has been describing this place, it's very dangerous. A lot of natural dangers, in terms of stars, radiation, gravity, different types of planets, sentient nebulas. All of these dangers are in that place, and yeah, it just wouldn't be very cost effective for the Imperium of Man to begin a campaign in that region of space. And if the Leagues of Votann are not poking the bear, essentially, if I can say it like that, if they're not poking the bear, then the bear won't really take notice.
As we have heard, the gravitic anomalies, the difficulty in making conventional warp jumps, and the harshness of the planets that are ventured to, all add up to make this adventure not worthy of the taking in the first place. At least, from the perspective of the already stretched Imperium of Man. And people do confuse the Imperium of Mankind for something it is not. The Imperium is stated to stretch from one end of the galaxy to the other, which I have stated before, and it is true. But the distribution of colonies is sporadic and very sparse, really. For there are 1,000,000 lights in the human empire, 1,000,000 worlds held. But this is a tiny fragment of the stars in the galaxy.
And also a very tiny fragment of the planets within the galaxy, We have billions of stars, and also lightly we have trillions of planets, All different types, all different shapes of planets. Many of them uninhabitable, many of them, super planets, super giant planets that are just not really conducive for human life. Others are gas giants. Others are just these planetoid, Pluto-sized celestial bodies that you can't really establish anything on. So yeah, 1,000,000 worlds of the Imperium of Man, but there's still trillions of planets that have not been either surveyed or colonized by the Imperium of Man. So yeah.
A minuscule amount. Some are not habitable, useful, or worthy of the effort. But also, there are oddities in that the space lanes, the warp lanes that the navigators tend to use, are not some pretty collage linking every star to its neighbors. Many sectors of the galaxy have entire swathes of stars that do not have a Mandeville point, as they are not connected by warp lanes. Hence, they are simply too difficult to get to, compared to normal worlds and systems.
Okay, this is also interesting. Warp lanes. I did not know there were warp lanes in Warhammer 40k. Like in Star Wars, they have their hyperspace lanes. Yes, they have their hyperspace lanes that take them, safely through hyperspace, all the way to the major planets within their galaxy. So essentially, also in Warhammer 40k, they have something similar, it seems. Okay. But is it any safer, really? I mean, you guys are entering into the warp where demons, exist, and all manners of maniacal creatures and the chaos gods themselves. That's their home turf. So I don't know if there's any really like a safe place in the warp that can, take you from point A to point B, in one piece, But it's interesting.
and this is why the Imperium may extend over the entire map of the galaxy, but does not have a coverage over all of the stars within it. Who knows what terrors lie untouched, undiscovered, and inactive, hiding or growing outside of the normal space lanes. But I digress. But now, of course, we know why so few dangers have actually come from the core to bother anyone else. They were fighting the kin of the Leagues of Votann, and the League seemed to have been doing an adequate job of clearing this region of most potentially hazardous xenos. Hence, there was simply no need for the Imperium to bother. Although the regions directly adjacent to the core may have had localized trade or encounters with the kin, the reports of these events would be languishing in data stacks or on administratum record worlds. Hence the Imperium as a whole has not been concerned. And nor are the forces of the Imperium expansive enough to check every report, respond to every oddity. Therefore, they have not had reason to raise a crusade into the core. But, to be honest, it is likely that any crusade would be a bloodbath for its own. Fighting in the core region would be a nightmare for any who are not raised there, as we are to see over the course of this week. The kin of the Leagues of Votann are resilient, pragmatic, and forward-thinking, because they have to be. If they had suffered from any of the many malaises that infected the Imperium, they would have been wiped out millennia ago.
Are they like dwarves? I think so, yeah. This person in the suit is very cute looking. Yeah, I think maybe they're like dwarves. Oh, alright. Space dwarves. Alright.
I have been Baldermort, your faithful servant. A swift reminder about our other channels, links in the description. I hope you have enjoyed this brief introduction and will be joining me over the week as we explore this rich and fascinating new faction. And thank you for your precious time. Now, no matter what you do today, do try to make some time for fun. Toodaloo.
Okay guys, alright, that was the Galactic Core Home of the Leagues of Votann by Baldermort's Guide to Warhammer. I think they are humanoid, right? They do look like they're humans, but they are short in stature, if I can say that. They look more like dwarves. So I guess like all the other fantasy content out there, you know, like your World of Warcraft, your Dragon Age, Lord of the Rings, you know, they have their humans, they have the elves, and they have the dwarves, and here's something similar as well. Oh yes, also the orcs. So here's something similar in Warhammer 40k. They have their own version of their dwarves called the kin, and yeah, it's an interesting race. I'm not sure whether they are part of, you know, like they're descendants of the Eldar, or are they descendants of humanity. I'm not entirely sure, because they really do look very humanoid in their appearance. And yeah, they have thrived and survived in the Galactic Core, which is very, very interesting. And like Baldermort has said, that, you know, if the Imperium of Man wanted to commence a crusade in that region of space, it would be terrible on the side of the Imperium of Man. You know, even with their vast amount of fleets and soldiers and all other forms of material, it would just be a catastrophe. You know, trying to fight it out against the Votann in their own space. They know it best. They know what all the nooks and cranny, all the safe routes, and all the dangerous places in the Galactic Core. So, you know, they would be safe where they are. And also, the Leagues of Votann have not interfered themselves in the political standpoint of the galaxy. as a whole. They haven't been interfering with the Imperium of Man. They haven't garnered the attention of the Eldar or the Orcs or the Tau necessarily. It's usually those races that are actually coming into the Galactic Core, trying to mine for resources probably, or trying to map that region of space, and it's proving to be difficult, especially like for the Tau, as we just heard in the first insert. And yeah, it's an interesting species that live in the Galactic Core, and yeah, I can't wait to learn more about them, this faction. And yeah, guys, I guess that's it with Baldermort's Guide to Warhammer. Remember, if you want to check out the original video as well as Baldermort's Guide to Warhammer's YouTube channel, the links are in the description below. If you like my reaction, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos. And I will see you guys next week with part 2 on the Leagues of Votann. Yeah. Okay? Bye-bye.